hopeless? We're going to dive into this conversation today. If you're like many people, you feel rather frustrated in the dating marketplace. It can seem really daunting to be out there dealing with online dating, hoping to meet someone at a meetup group, or even the random coffee shops. So it can feel like actually attracting a life partner might seem like it's almost impossible. And I get it. I've been there. I know what you're feeling. But I want to say this to everybody who's watching this right now. You have a choice of which wolf do you want to feed? Do you want to feed the wolf of all the negativity on the online dating world? Or excuse me, not just online dating, but in the social media world. Do you know there is reel after reel after reel, story after story on Facebook, meme after meme talking about how terrible it is in the dating marketplace? I want you to imagine this. You see reel after reel talking about how dating in 2025 is you're dealing with ghosters, you're dealing with people that send, explicit pictures to one another, talking about all the chaos that's going on. And if you're watching this over and over and over again, it can seem rather hopeless, don't you think? I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine which wolf you feed. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of feeding the two wolves, I invite you to go online and Google it because you actually have a choice. You have a choice. What do you want to put in your reticular activating system? Now, I want to tell you a little story because this relates to how I attracted my life partner today. And I can genuinely say that I'm in a relationship with a life partner. Now, mind you, it's only 5 months old. And a lot of people would say that's way too soon. You're in the honeymoon phase. How can you know that? By the way, how many videos have you watched from men who are in relationship 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, say things like, I knew from the very first date I was with the one? Now, I'm not suggesting it in that category, but I will tell you this. I feel very confident, and I believe she feels the same, that we want to be together until our last breath. So I want to come back and tell you a story that relates to my relationship. And I can tell you I'm in a relationship that feels like it's so grounded. It's so solid. I feel very calm. It's not the highs and lows as I experienced before in my life. Have you experienced those highs and lows before? Or have you experienced a calm, growing relationship? Now, some of the key factors that I recognize in this relationship that is so different in my past experiences, and I want you to write this down. I want you to ask yourself, do you experience massive friendship with the person you're in relationship with right now or any previous relationship? Massive friendship. Now, why do I kind of exaggerate it with the term massive friendship? Think about if you want love in your life, wouldn't it be great to be with a partner who's your dearest friend, someone you like, someone you can feel like you can share most anything with? I think having this level of care, but more importantly, liking the person enough to want to share your deepest, darkest truth with each other. And by the way, it's a mutual event. It's not a singular event. Having that massive friendship builds the foundation of trust within a relationship, having that massive friendship. Write that down. Can someone write that down? Write down massive friendship. I think the next key to a successful relationship is a relationship where you have awesome or amazing romance. And when I think of romance, I think about the little things. Do they send you a text message thinking of you? Do they buy something out of the blue because they know it'll make you happy? Are you doing it for each other? A relationship should be a two-lane street where you're actually reciprocal with one another. And certainly within amazing romance should be a great physical connection. Let's face it, if you're in a romantic relationship, the primary reason to be together outside of being roommates or friends is the physical intimacy within a relationship. See, sadly, very few couples cultivate a real successful sex life together. They kind of take it for granted. I know growing up, I thought my role models when it came to physical intimacy was James Bond. And I grew up with the Sean Connery version, not the Daniel Craig version. But I will tell you this. It's a fantasy or fallacy to believe that we're actually just good at this instead of actually taking time to learn techniques to please your partner, to ask what your partner is interested, to have conversations with one another, instead of blindly expecting it that the parts fit. And while the two parts fit, but learning about each other requires a little bit of effort. And to have that amazing romance, to have that connection, requires intentionality, along with the intentionality to develop that massive friendship. But more importantly, if you want to have a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship, and I think if you're like me, I'm the type of person that was seeking a life partnership type based relationship. See, dating today, a lot of people have a short term mating strategy. They're hyper focused on attraction. They're hyper focused on the entertaining of one another. They're hyper focused on the romance to get someone in that physical intimacy state and that physical connection. And when I say hyper focused, what I mean to say is not thinking about a relationship from a bigger picture. It's seeing it from a very baseline type of place, seeing it from a place of what can I get versus what can I give? Because the relationships that go the distance, if they have massive friendship, if they have awesome romance, having grounded partnership, and the skills to be in a partnership. What's grounded partnership? It's being intentional, saying, I want a life mate in my life. I want to be teammates with someone. Hey, if you're in midlife like me, and I'm in the over 60 crowd, I do say this now publicly, the days in front of us are shorter than the days behind us. Seeking that awesome partnership, grounded partnership, is that I want to go the distance with someone, but also having the skills, having the conflict resolution skills, which you hear about on social media all the time, having the communication skills to determine whether or not this person is capable of being in an interactive relationship with someone. Having these communication skills is necessary. See, we no longer need transactional relationships. We no longer need dependent-based relationships. Thankfully, women are in a position where they can actually financially take care of their own needs. And because of that, they're not dependent upon men. And for the men watching this, you should be grateful that women are no longer dependent upon men. But Jonathan, I'm the kind of guy that wants to be in power. I want to be in control. Sure, you can choose that type of relationship, but how happy are you really going to be? You might temporarily be happy, but isn't the most important thing the happiness of your partner for each one of you? See, I think it's wonderful that we are in a place in humanity where we can choose partnership from a grounded, as I said, partnership-based relationship. So coming back to what I shared before about the wolf you feed, okay? And tell me if this is not true. Do you see reel after reel, story after story, meme after meme of how bad it is in the dating marketplace? Just raise your hand and say, yes, I do. Do you want to change that narrative? Well, I want to give you a little story that happened to me. So after my most significant relationship ended a couple years ago, I kind of started to think of all the negativity in the dating marketplace as white Teslas. Now, I happen to live in Los Angeles. I don't know where you live, but in Los Angeles, we have nothing but white Teslas. But I set an intention for myself, and I started to think about when I see a red Porsche Cabriolet, a red Porsche, preferably, or not Cabriolet, a 911 style Porsche. If I see that, that's when my soulmate is near. And so what I was, even though I saw the white Teslas, I didn't pay attention. I was only focused on seeing those red Porsches. Now, believe it or not, even in Los Angeles, there aren't as many of those out there as you would think. I thought there would be, but there weren't. But I remember about a year before I met my beloved, I saw one, and I actually had a date that night or that day. And while it didn't turn into anything, I said, I had an interesting date and I saw a red Porsche. Then about a few months later, I was going out on another date. Really, by the way, they weren't dates, they were just meetings. Okay, there's a big difference. I think when when you're meeting someone who's a stranger, the first time you meet them, I know we call them dates, but I call them meetings. And I think the second time you meet them, I call those follow-up meetings. And when you want to see them 3 times, that next time I call a date, okay? So I remember seeing a Porsche, red Porsche, and I had a meeting, but it didn't work out. Then I had a couple other meetings and I didn't see the Porsche, but I kept thinking about when I see this. My point is, when I focused my attention on what I wanted in a relationship, when I focused my attention on love in my heart, love for another human being, when I put my attention towards love, then I began shifting what I watched on social media. That's right. I started to focus my attention on all the positive aspects of love. Positive things like reciprocity for one another. Positive things like compassion for one another. Positive things like vulnerability, authenticity, transparency, and most of all, presence. Being present with another human being. Sadly, if we're in our head, if we're seeing all the negativity, we won't be present to the juicy, delicious aspects of a relationship. And no wonder people feel hopeless today. Now, to continue with my story, when I met my beloved, and mind you, it's only 5 months old, this relationship at the time I'm recording this, but I can tell you, I genuinely believe this is going to be the one that goes the distance. And I could be wrong, might not work out, but for right now, I'm in that space, okay? And we were meeting on a Sunday morning. And as I was getting on the road to drive to meet her, which was about a 20-minute drive, within the first 10 minutes, I saw a red Porsche. I swear to God I did. And I remember saying to myself, I wonder if this is the time. But then I thought, nah, that's just a stupid game I'm playing. This is the truth. And sure enough, we met, and guess what? We weren't each other's type when we first met. But you know what was interesting? After our meeting, we kept talking with one another because there was something there. There was a connection of intellectual chemistry between us. There was emotional chemistry between us. We both were fascinated with how each other thought. And we kept a connection going even though we weren't each other's type. And sure enough, within a 10-day period, we ended up having a second meeting. That second meeting turned into a third date. And by the 5th date, we agreed to explore a relationship. And it's not because of the red Porsche, it's because what I chose to feed in my reticular activating system. No wonder people feel hopeless today. And my invitation for everybody watching this is start putting in your reticular activating system. What I mean is your consciousness. Instead of look at dating like all the white Teslas that are here in Los Angeles with all the dysfunctionality, the ghosting, the narcissism, the toxicity. And I know it can feel like it's like a hopeless cause. I get it. But you have a choice. You could feed the wolf of hopelessness, or I'm inviting you to feed the wolf of love. Feed the wolf of hope. Start redirecting your energy into the type of relationship you want. I want you to literally visualize the type of relationship you want. In fact, do me a favor. Go buy an old-fashioned calendar. Write down on Tuesday, what are you two doing together? Look at it from the first date on. And I want you to take a calendar for the next 3 months and describe what it looks like. Just visualize it for yourself. Think of it from a place of what do you want to feel in this relationship? What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel joy? Do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel happiness? Do you want to feel intense passion? Do you want to feel safe? Do you want to feel grounded? Do you want to feel calm, as I said before? Start writing down the feelings. Then start describing the qualities, not the superficial things about how tall they are or what their body type is or how much money they make. Start writing down the qualities of this person. Do they have a heart centered of kindness? Do they have character? Do they care about their grandparents? Or, well, at this stage, it wouldn't be that. But do they care about humanity? Do they have a sense of charity within them? Start writing down the values that are most important to you. It might be health. It might be reciprocity. It might be generosity. It might be charity. Did I say that before? But start writing down the qualities that matter most, not the details of the person. Start writing down what you want to feel in this experience and start to focus on it from a place of joy. You see my smile on my face, a place of joy. Because if we're feeding the wolf of negativity, if we're feeling the wolf of discomfort and uncertainty and frustration, and I know you have every right to go there, but what are you going to start seeing? You're going to see this white Tesla and that white Tesla and that white Tesla, and all you'll see is white Teslas. But I want you to start redirecting your, this is my invitation for you. You do what you want, okay? But I'm inviting you to redirect it from a place of love, from a place of hope, from a place of this is actually possible to have a relationship that's built on grounded love. And as I said before, or grounded partnership. Focus on massive friendship with one another. Massive friendship makes you smile. Massive friendship is that you sit down with one another on a Sunday morning for coffee and you can talk with one another for hours and hours at a time. And you can't wait to share something really personal to you because you're with your best friend. As one of my friends say, it's friendship on fire. And romance, yes. Be intentional about romance. It's not about the guy climbing to the highest room of the tallest tower. It's about two people learning about each other from a more granular place. Ask deeper questions. Be vulnerable. Be authentic. Be transparent. Because ultimately, if you want that life partnership-based relationship, you can sit and say, I deserve this. It should happen. It's all a fantasy. Or you could actually make it happen for you. And and here's my invitation for you. Feed the wolf of hope, feed the wolf of intentionality, do the inner work to be prepared, do the relationship skills work, determine this person's emotional maturity early on, because when you do all of this, you have a much greater chance for relationship success. And maybe this video has helped you attract the relationship of your dreams. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? I'd love to hear what you think about what I just shared. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, hey, there's links below. Schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. Join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. I shoot these videos in the group so we can have a private chat about it. And if you want to get the books I recommend or check me out on social media, the links are all below. All right, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathon bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.